have the opportunity to serve as the Minister of Small Business and Red Tape Reduction. And so it gives an opportunity for me to really focus in on how does the regulatory framework impact not only small businesses, but the economic environment across all of Ontario. And when we talk about open for business, open for jobs, I think the underlying message that we are really trying to solve is how do we make Ontario more competitive? When we look at competitiveness across the world, Ontario continues to fall behind to some of our leading competitors. When the World Economic Forum published a report on competitiveness across the world, Canada used to be a leader. We're currently number 14th, but the 13 ahead of us are those we compete with for all investment internationally. And not only investment internationally, but those companies that are here operating in Ontario, we lose out on additional investments. We see investments going to other nations, whether it's south of the border, to other provinces, or to other countries in the world. So it's really a focus on making Ontario more competitive. It's about reviewing our regulatory framework. It's about reviewing the messaging and really trying to support business and working with business as partners in prosperity. And I think that is something that the Premier and members of our government and cabinet really want to emphasize, is that when businesses thrive, you're Ontario's success. And that is really the underlying message of many of our policies that have been coming out, as you can see, whether it's the Open for Jobs, Open for Business, and other initiatives that we continue to work on. And when we talk about small businesses, there's over 400,000 small businesses just in Ontario. So truly, when we say that they are the backbone of our economy, the backbone of the province, we really mean it. And that's why it is so important for us to have an emphasis on small businesses. Now, through the red tape lens of it, we were actually able to introduce our first piece of legislation. I had the opportunity to introduce my first piece of legislation. So again, speaking to the regulatory framework that Ontario operates under, how can we be better? And so we've undertaken many pieces of legislation already in regards to reducing the regulatory burden on businesses. I had the opportunity to introduce this piece of legislation, which is going to take about 82 actions to streamline initiatives across government. So this touches on forestry, mining, it touches on manufacturing, it touches on non-for-profits as well, and I'll get into a bit of the detail. But the overall goal for the government was to reduce both regulations that don't impact public health, safety, and the environment, and to reduce the cost of doing business by $400 million by June 2020. So if our bill is passed, the current bill that we have, we're going to see about $338 million since we have been elected saved in cost to business. And that's something that we're very, very proud of, because we know that when businesses are saving money and when we're taking away from compliance time and compliance costs, businesses take that money and reinvest it into their local, whether it's economies or local communities, and reinvest and hire more people. And we've seen the results of that. Over 250,000 and a 250,000 new jobs have been created in this province since under the leadership of Premier Ford and the policies that we have enacted. So we're well on our way to doing in making Ontario more competitive, making Ontario the economic engine of this province. So a couple of the highlights of the package dealt with the trucking industry. Simple ideas of streamlining approval processes, where they were required to do 2 separate inspections, one a 3-hour inspection, another 30-minute inspection, but on 2 different dates, 2 different ministries, 2 different regulatory bodies. Simply combining those 2 saves that industry quite a significant amount of money. Same thing in the mining mining sector, we provided service guarantees. When we talk about advanced manufacturing, streamlining processes around environmental assessment processes to lead the way in North America, and we're going to be starting that with some of our auto manufacturing plants. And one of the other really good things about the approach the government has taken has been around really consulting with industry, listening to industry. We also even launched a website. It's www.ontario.ca/redtape. I unfortunately don't have it on my slide here, but it is an opportunity for us to listen to you, the business community, to pitch us on ideas, to pitch us on how we can make doing business in Ontario easier for you. So for example, if there are some sort of forms that you have to fill out which you think are onerous on you, which you think do not serve any purpose, we would love to hear directly from you so we can implement those changes. We would love to hear ideas directly from the business community on how we can save you time and compliance costs. And I think that has many of our bills that we have passed, over the 100 actions we have taken, have come directly from interacting directly with business and industry. And so we rely on you. We don't rely on, a lot of times government gets criticized from governing from the ivory towers of Queen's Park. That's not the type of approach that we want to take. We really want to get onto the front lines of government, of industry, and ask you to help guide us and help us help you by removing some of these onerous regulations and requirements so that we can better support more investment in the province. So when we talk about some of the savings that we have been able to provide for businesses and what we have been able to do, I'll briefly go over, since we've been in government, we have the goal of saving businesses $400 million in cost through compliance and regulations. But we also have an overall strategy to lower the cost of doing business in Ontario for industry. So one of the first actions we took was canceling the cap-and-trade program. That put back $485 million into the economy. That was something that we heard when we were traveling across the province during our election. That was going to make us less competitive against some of our biggest competitors, which is south of the border or even other provinces for that matter. The other big item that we heard during the election was the minimum wage, freezing minimum wage at $14. But I also want to acknowledge where we did freeze minimum wage at $14. We also brought in the most progressive tax cut in the history of this province by providing anyone that is earning minimum wage with absolutely no requirement to pay income tax in the province of Ontario. So a really balanced approach, ensuring that we're supporting our job creators. They saw a 23% hike in operating costs on wages. A lot of small businesses were struggling, had to lay off, couldn't actually operate. So we understood those challenges and really tried to make a difference there. And we've seen, many businesses kind of thank us for that, but also at the same time being able to then reward those individuals who are earning minimum wage with some tax relief. So seeing where we can come to a common agreement and really look after everyone in the province of Ontario. When we talk about WSIB, our government has been able to deliver $980 million in savings through the reform on the unfunded liability aspect. So many of you might have, if in that industry that does pay WSIB premiums, seen those go down, especially in the first year. We were able to freeze a lot for this year, but on an average see a decrease this year as well. But that has been another big thing a great thing that our government has been able to do as well. When we look at corporate tax relief at about $255 million, this actually includes proposed tax hikes that the previous government wanted to implement on the small businesses. So whether we stop those from coming in, recognizing that small businesses really do play such an important role in making sure that we keep more money in your pockets so that you can continue to reinvest and grow the local economies. We felt that higher taxes on small businesses were not what we wanted to do, but that would have cost, if it wasn't for us, it would have costed approximately $255 million for small businesses across the province. And now we also, with the new Minister of Finance, Minister Phillips, had the opportunity to introduce our fall economic statement. And in this statement, we also proposed, which I was one of my most favorite parts of that, which was the small business tax cut. Proposed 8% decrease in the small business tax rate, taking it from 3.5% to 3.2% beginning on January 1st, 2020. This would actually provide approximately up to $1,500 for small businesses, and it impacts over 275,000 businesses across the province. This was introduced in the fall economic statement that was put in place just 2 weeks ago. This bill is actually in the process of being debated in the House, but it also underlies what our commitment is to the government and to the people of Ontario, which is to really support small businesses across the province and to really reinvest in those businesses, and knowing the reward that they are going to then contribute to their local economies, grow their jobs, create more opportunities for hardworking families across the province. The other exciting thing about the fall economic statement was the launch of our small business success strategy. So this is going to be an important time where we get to really take in a lot of information from a wide variety of industry and to really see how we can more focus economic growth through a small business lens. How can we better support small businesses with a strategy that is going to be derived from consultation with small businesses from every sector of the economy, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's service, whether it is mining, agriculture, forestry, it doesn't matter what it is. We want to hear how we as a government can better support small businesses across the province. And this is going to be a great opportunity for us to then maybe even come back to the community and to listen from small businesses across the province and how we can better support all of you. And when we look at Ontario as an economy, when we look at the vast region of Ontario, we're actually the size of, I think, France and Spain combined. So we recognize that there are differences regionally. When we talk about economic development, there are specific areas in the north, in the east, in the south, in Toronto. And we really want to take that into consideration when putting our policy forward or even our strategy forward on small businesses. And that's going to be a great opportunity. And recognizing that when we have such a diverse caucus from every part of the province, that really helps. I know Minister Clark has been a great advocate for the area and the unique challenges that are being faced right here in Leeds, Grenville, and Rockville, and the communities here. And so this gives us an opportunity to really incorporate much of that into our strategy and into our strategies. So that is going to be really exciting as well. And also going forward into our regional challenges that I was just speaking to. I think we have a unique opportunity to really get this right and to really look at some of our regional development and regional economic programs with a more focused lens. And this is something that has been a focus point for our government. We're going to be investing over $100 million through a 4-year course of program. And I know many of you have been are aware of the programs that currently exist, but there were some slight changes that were made to that program, and one of those changes is the job creation threshold being changed from 10 to 5, and that recognizes really the ability for more smaller scale businesses to participate in some of these grant and loan programs that the government is offering. So that's direct consultation with different regions across the province and the unique challenges that smaller scaled businesses face, recognizing it that, even if it isn't 10 or if it's 20 or 30, that there are unique challenges that we want smaller businesses to scale and we want smaller businesses to be able to apply for. And we're also going to be delivering a new coordinated delivery model that I know you're going to be hearing much more about later this afternoon. But it will really give you a range of access to programs and tools like advisory services, assistance with compliance and approvals, accessing skills and training supports, and information on tax credits. So really working towards an approach that is more streamlined, easier for you to interact with, not something that you're going to be kind of just banging your head against the wall trying to get some of these support programs, or really trying to navigate a complicated, complex program. So that's been really the key core of being able to deliver a new regional development program that recognizes both the eastern part of the province and other parts of the province. So this is another really exciting part of our package that I very briefly alluded to in the beginning, which is our desire to attract more manufacturing jobs or to attract a new mega site program. So this is going to be the Job Site Challenge, which has had a soft launch, but we're really looking forward to the main launch that's going to be coming in the next week or so. But this really focuses on our open for business, open for jobs strategy. And it really is about working with municipalities that have there's going to be some requirements that we impose, which is about sites that are 500 to 1,500 acres. We are going to be working with these municipalities to find three locations across the province, which we can then service and site and work with our municipalities to market to the world. And the aim would be to attract and advance manufacturing, a new OEM, but something that will be shovel ready. So we're going to be selecting internationally acclaimed site selectors. They're going to be assessing opportunities for location, your ability to scale, the labor force. Many other things will be taken into consideration when these applications are made. But I know Miraseo has been a big advocate for this program and has been on top of this program, and we're really excited to be working with his team and many other teams across the province to really market Ontario for what it is and really be able to attract one of our biggest investments potentially in the history of Ontario internationally. And it would be a project that has the potential to create thousands of jobs, and not only 1,000 direct jobs, but thousands of indirect jobs. So this is something that is going to be really exciting. And I would say areas like whether it's Brockville, Leeds, or the surrounding are prime examples of those who can benefit from programs like this and really see a drastic change to the local economy if successful, and being able to attract one of these. The U.S. has been able to do this actually very well. When we look at Tennessee, Alabama, they implemented similar programs to this. We're able to secure investments from Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, thousands of jobs, not just direct jobs, but indirect jobs that were created from this. So this is going to be really, really exciting for us in the coming weeks, and something that regions like yours will have great access to and ability to. When we talk about our plan as a government, we believe on the right track when we look at it economically. 250,000 new jobs since we have come into government are open for jobs, open for business policies, whether it be saving $5 billion or putting $5 billion back into the pockets of Ontario businesses, or our focus on cutting red tape. These are all things that we are very proud of and very supportive of. As we said, as of June 2019, as you can see on the slide, there are 483,000 businesses in Ontario that are small businesses. So we really want to focus on prosperity for small business, work with small businesses, and really see your success being our success as a government. And if you look at our fall economic statement, a key indicator of why we've been able to beat our deficit target has been higher than projected income from whether it's personal taxes or business taxes, and that's because we've been able to create over 250,000 new jobs in the province. We've been able to beat our projected deficit by $1.3 billion. So the more we work with industry, the more we work with business, I think we have a great opportunity to really then have the money to reinvest in our core critical services, whether that's education or healthcare as well. So that is all that I had to say today, but I wanted to take an opportunity to really have, if that's okay, I know, to opportunity to open it up to any questions that the floor might have for us and for me on whether it's our small business strategy or some of the support programs that we might have in place. Thank you.